Indian National Security Advisor Ajit Doval has held a meeting with his Russian counterpart Nikolay Petrushev in the national capital. This meeting was aimed at mitigating any possible security threats in the region from the Taliban-ruled Afghanistan. India and Russia held consultations on the security implications in India, Russia and the Central Asian region as a number of dreaded terror groups, including Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Toiba, have strong presence in the war-torn country. The talks paid attention to intensifying the Russia and India special services and military bodies, and emphasis was given on further interaction on the anti-terrorist track, combating illegal migration and drug trafficking as well. The ambassador, Venkatesh Verma, speaking to the Russian media, explained that the situation poses threat to the interests of both India and Russia due to the possibility of rising terrorist groups, increased drug trafficking and organized crime. The situation in Afghanistan is considered to be a security challenge for both India and Russia. While India fears that Afghanistan could become a safe haven for Pakistan-based terror groups, Russia fears that any spillover over the crisis can impact its allies in Central Asia. This meeting is a direct outcome of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin's talks on the 24th of August. India believes Moscow can play a key role in ensuring Afghanistan is not used by such groups to target other countries in the region. Moscow, in its part, has said that it wants a permanent bilateral mechanism with India focused on the terror and drug threats from Afghanistan. These talks were held a day before the BRICS virtual summit, where Prime Minister Modi, President Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping are expected to underline concerns related to Afghanistan. And for more on these developments, joining us is our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal. Siddhant, Afghanistan, of course, dominating the agenda of these talks that were held. Take us through the key takeaways.
Well, Molly, these talks which happened in Delhi today between NSA Doval and, of course, Nikolay was basically on Afghanistan. This was a format which was talked about by the Indian Prime Minister and the Russian President, as you mentioned. But during this conversation, one thing that India specifically highlighted was the Pakistani influence in Afghanistan and, of course, the linkages Pakistan has with international terror groups, how Pakistan-based international terror groups like Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed can pose a threat in a country which can now provide a safe haven, that is Afghanistan. But during the conversation, there were other key focus areas as well on whether Taliban will adhere to the promises and commitment it has made to the international community. Also, that Afghanistan should not become a center of drugs, because this impacts the region as whole. And primarily, it was also the Central Asian countries which were mentioned in terms of both New Delhi and Moscow having close relationship. But when it comes to Russia, its own security is directly impacted with any destabilization in Central Asian countries. Because remember, three countries, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan and Tajikistan, share border with Afghanistan, and any instability is expected to have a spillover effect in these countries. So that remain a large focus. But if you look at the visit, this is his first, the President of the Security Council of Russia's first visit to any country after the 15th of August takeover of Taliban of the Afghan national capital, Kabul. And also it shows that how Russia and India are coordinating now, given that there is a new reality when it comes to Afghanistan on the ground. India, of course, is coordinating with other partners and allies as well. We know that the Indian External Affairs Minister has spoken to the US Secretary of State 3 times, the British Foreign Secretary also 3 times, the French Foreign Minister and other countries as well. But in terms of any practical cooperation on Afghanistan, this is the first such bilateral meeting which has happened specifically just on Afghanistan. And remember, during that meeting, not only NSA Doval was present, but the top security leadership and the diplomatic leadership were present in terms of the Foreign Secretary Harsh Shringla present. and other the deputy NSA also present in that meeting. But largely, we can expect more such cooperation in the future. What is interesting and stands out is in that interview of the Indian envoy to Russia, he talked about how both countries have a common position when it comes to Afghanistan, but also questioned the role or the outcome of Troika plus, that is Russia, China and US plus Pakistan, because we know that this is a grouping from which India was kept out, and largely it wasn't able to do something different when it comes to the fall of Kabul.
Siddhant Sibal, thanks very much for those updates for now. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.